Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are enjoying your days. Today I have come with a new case law. Till now I have discussed 4 or 5 case law. You can go through my playlist where you can have all the cases in English as well as in Hindi. And today I will discuss a very interesting case which was happened in 1985, Indian Express newspaper versus Union of India. In this case, there were three articles which were deeply discussed. Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, right to freedom of press. Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause G, right to practice any trade or occupations. Article 14, equality before law and equal protection of law. Right to press, right to freedom of press is not expressly mentioned in our constitution. It is just because of the court's interpretations it is emerged in our constitutions. So let's discuss about the case. First of all, you should must know about the who are the petitioners and respondents. So petitioners are the companies, employees and shareholders of the company's trust which are engaged in the publications of the news. Means those members and those persons who are engaged in the publications of news, they are the petitioners. And respondents is the central governments, which is known as devoted as CG. So a fact of the case is that actually there was an act, Custom Act 1962. Through this act, Government of India on 1st March 1981 passed a notification. Okay, through this notification, Government of India imposed import duty on newsprint. Remember, import duty on newsprint under the Custom Tariff Act, and through this notification, it also added auxiliaries duty on newsprint, which auxiliaries duty is just like additional duty under Finance Act 1981. Actually, Government of India issued notification from the Custom Act 1962 and is imposed import duty and auxiliaries duty on newsprints. But before these notifications, there were no such types of taxes, and newspapers were enjoying the exemptions from any kinds of custom duty. Means there were no any kinds of custom duty, even a single penny. So but after these notifications, two duties, import duties and auxiliaries duties, which was going to be implemented on 1st of March 1981, after 1st of March 1981. And as well as that, through this notification, Government of India classified the newspapers into small, medium and large newspaper. A small or medium of large newspaper sense means that so number of the papers comes into the small, and so numbers of the papers come into the medium, and so number of the papers comes into the large. So it has categorized through these notifications the newspapers into small, medium and large. So in this case, the validity of these notifications was challenged. On what grounds we should discuss below, that what were the arguments taken place into the courts that you should must remember. So first argument was that the petitioner argued into the court that imposition of the duty, means imposition of the taxes, which was in terms of import duty and auxiliaries duty, was affecting adversely on the cost, on the circulations of the newspaper. Means when the government is going to charge the tax from the newspaper, then naturally they are going to bear a heavy cost on the circulations of the newspapers, or they have to pay to the cost to the, a handsome amount they have to pay to the government. So petitioner argued that it is creating adverse effect on the cost and circulations of the newspapers, and it is also violating the right to freedom of expression under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, and right to trade or occupations under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause G. I will not go into the details of these articles. I hope you all must be knowing about these articles very well. So this was the first arguments raised by the petitioners. The second argument raised by the petitioner is that through that notifications, Government of India classified, but this classification was against the Article 14, and this classification was arbitrary. Means Government of India exercised the discretions in the arbitrary forms. means it is against the equality before law. So this was the second argument raised by the petitioners. And the third argument raised by the petitioner is that, and this is very important argument, that petitioner said that as tax, whatever tax is imposed by the government, this is for the public interest. But when this notification was issued by the government, that time the position of foreign exchange reserves was comfortable. It means that whatever tax is imposed by the government okay, is submitted into the treasury of the governments, and when the treasury of the government is in good position, then foreign exchange reserve is also in good position. So petitioner argued that at that time when this notification was issued, foreign exchange reserve was very good, because there was no need of imposing such kinds of taxes when there was no any kinds of financial emergency or anything. So there was no need of imposing such kinds of taxes. So this was the third argument raised by the petitioner. Now the argument raised by the respondent was that respondent said that the burden of the cost of the newspapers, which was going to bear by the newspapers, and the foreign exchange, the position of foreign exchange reserves was irrelevant, because there was no any kind of burden on the newspapers and foreign exchange reserves, and the claim that foreign exchange reserve was comfortable or not, it does not matter on the imposition of the taxes. So this was the argument raised by the respondent. And it also said that the tax is borne by all the citizens for the public interest. So and tax is also collected by the newspapers. So tax is collected by both the citizens as well as the companies. So before the notification, newspaper had no any kinds of tax, and they were enjoying the exemptions. So when tax is paid by all the citizens of India as well as the companies and non-companies, so why newspaper is not coming into the category of paying as a taxpayer? So imposing of the import duty is not any kinds of discriminations with the newspapers. So all these were the arguments raised into the courts. Now the judgment of the decision of the Supreme Court was very important in this. So Supreme Court observed that Supreme Court said that yeah, we know very well that government is empowered very well to impose the taxes on the people of India as well as the companies and non-companies whatever working in the in India for the public interest only. So publication of the newspapers is also a company, and they are also industry like any other industries. They are also enjoying the benefits and benefits and services which are provided by the governments. So they are not different from any kinds of industry. So why tax is not being imposed, and there is no any such kinds of reason, and they should not be given any such kinds of privilege. So when they are also same to the industries, and they are also enjoying the benefits of the government services like any other industries, so they also should be subjected to the same levy of the taxes, means the taxes which are imposed on the other industries. So newspaper publication should also be that treated as the industry, so they also should fall under the impositions of the tax. So there is no difference between the newspaper industries and the other industries. And the Supreme Court also said that classification of the newspaper into small, medium and large based on the economic considerations, and classification of the newspapers, it has a very much nexus with the object of the taxation. So it does not discriminate the Article 14, and it does not against the principles of the natural justice. So the now the judgment of the Supreme Court also very important. Supreme Court rejected, first of all, Supreme Court rejected the petition on the grounds that because because the uh, because the liability on the petitioner was that to prove before the Supreme Courts the excess amounts of tax and excess nature of tax. Okay, but they were unable to prove. So they, because excess nature of burden of tax was not proved by the petitioners, so Supreme Court rejected the petitions, and it also held upheld the notifications. uh, so Supreme Court just rejected the petitions on the grounds that excessive nature of burden of taxes was not proved by the petitioners. So this is all about this case. If you like this lecture, so you please like, share and subscribe. I hope you may have learned from this lecture, and I have tried to given you in a detail. In my next lecture I will upload in Hindi, because many of the students have said that I also make uh, two lectures, one in Hindi and one in English, so it is easy for them to understand. I hope you like this, so please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.